Journeyman Electrician Practice Exams. Subject: Electrical Theory. Module: Basics of Electrical Circuits. Chapter: Set 4. What will the power factor of the circuit having apparent power 100 VA, reactive power of 80 VAR and a real power of 60 watts? A. 0.6. B. 0.8. C. 0.8, 0.6. D. 0.6, 0.8. The answer is A. 0.6. Rectifiers used to convert dash power supply to dash power supply. A. AC, DC. B. DC, AC. C. DC, DC. D. AC, AC. The answer is A. AC, DC. In a DC circuit, inductor will act as A. Open circuit, B. Short circuit. The answer is B. Short circuit. Ammeter will be connected in dash with the circuit A series, B. Parallel. The answer is A series. In a DC circuit, the capacitor will act as open circuit, A. True, B. False. The answer is A. True. Cycloconverter is used to convert which of the following? A. Frequency of AC. B. DC to AC. C. AC to DC. The answer is A. Frequency of AC. In a parallel RL circuit, as the frequency increases, impedance Z decreases. A. True, B. False. The answer is B. False. The power factor of an AC circuit is equal to A. Cosine of the phase angle, B. Sine of the phase angle, C. Unity for a resistive circuit, D. Unity for a reactive circuit. The answer is A. Cosine of the phase angle. Power factor of an AC circuit is defined as the ratio of A. Resistance and reactance, B. Resistance and impedance, C. Reactance and impedance, D. Reactance and resistance. The answer is B. Resistance and impedance. The unit of susceptibility is A. Tesla, B. Joule, meter, C. Henry, meter, D. Joule, sec. The answer is C. Henry, meter. In an AC circuit, the ratio of the active power to the apparent power is called the A. Form factor, B. Load factor, C. Power factor, D. Quality factor. The answer is C. Power factor. The power measurement in balanced three-phase circuit can be done by A. 1 watt meter method only, B. 2 watt meter method only, C. 3 watt meter method only, D. All the options are correct. The answer is D. All the options are correct. Which of the following quantity is used to measure from Wheatstone bridge? A. Potential difference, B. Resistance, C. Inductance, D. Frequency. The answer is B. Resistance. The power factor of a series RL circuit will be A. Leading, B. Lagging, C. Unity. The answer is B. Lagging. The time period or periodic time t of an alternating quantity is the time taken in seconds to complete A. 1 cycle, B. 1 alternation, C. Time period, D. 1 rotation. The answer is A. 1 cycle. The force experienced by a unit north pole at any point is called as A. MMF, B. Magnetic flux strength, C. Magnetic flux density, D. Magnetic potential. The answer is B. Magnetic flux strength. Kirchhoff's law is valid for which of the following circuits? A. Linear circuits only, B. Passive time invariant circuits, C. Nonlinear circuits, D. Both linear and nonlinear circuits. The answer is D. Both linear and nonlinear circuits. For a DC voltage an inductor, A. is virtually a short circuit, B. is an open circuit, C. depends on the polarity, D. depends on the magnitude of the voltage. The answer is A. is virtually a short circuit. Which of the following is used to improve the power factor of a circuit? A. Shunt capacitor. B. Series capacitor. C. Shunt inductor. D. Series inductor. The answer is A. Shunt capacitor. Efficiency is defined as A. Output, output plus losses. B. Output, input plus losses. C. Losses, input. D. Output plus losses, input. The answer is A. Output, output plus losses. For lighting systems operating at 30 volts or less, the output circuits of the power supply are rated for not less than A. 25 amperes. B. 30 amperes. C. 15 amperes. D. 50 amperes. The answer is A. 25 amperes. Lighting systems for pools, spas and fountains usually be installed not less than -feet horizontal from the nearest edge of the water. A. 10 feet. B. 7 feet. C. 6 feet. D. 12 feet. The answer is A. 10 feet. Lighting systems operating at 30 volts or less shall be supplied from a maximum branch circuits A. 20A. B. 15A. C. 30A. D. 50A. The answer is A. 20A. Periodic time or time period of a waveform is reciprocal of frequency of the waveform. A. True. B. False. The answer is A. True. What is the value of apparent power of a circuit having real power and reactive power having the value 60 kilowatts and 80 kVA respectively? A. 100 kV. B. 50 kV. C. 80 kV. D. 120 kV. The answer is A. 100 kV. If a circuit is supplied by DC voltage, then the form factor of the circuit is A. Unity. B. 0. C. Infinity. D. Any value between 0 and 1. The answer is A. Unity. The inductive reactance of a circuit with increase in supply frequency. A. Increases. B. Decreases. C. Remains same. The answer is A. Increases. Power delivered to a three-phase system can be measured with the help of 2 wattmeters only if A. The loads are balanced. B. The loads are unbalanced. C. If three-phase load is connected to the source through 3 wires. D. If three-phase load is connected to the source through 4 wires. The answer is C. If three-phase load is connected to the source through 3 wires. The circuit having same properties in either of the direction is known as network. A. Bilateral. B. Unilateral. C. Reversible. D. Irreversible. The answer is A. Bilateral. Power loss in an electrical circuit can take place in A. Inductance only. B. Resistance only. C. Capacitance only. The answer is B. Resistance only. The circuit having same properties in either of the direction is known as network. A. Bilateral. B. Unilateral. C. Reversible. D. Irreversible. The answer is A. Bilateral. In a secondary cell, chemical action is reversible. A. True. B. False. The answer is A. True. A circuit which is having neither any energy source nor EMF source is known as circuit. A. Unilateral. B. Bilateral. C. Passive. D. Active. The answer is C. Passive. An air gap is usually inserted in magnetic circuits so as to A. Prevent saturation. B. Increase in MMF. C. Increase in flux. D. Increase in inductance. The answer is A. Prevent saturation. For high voltage applications, which type of circuit breaker is most preferred? A. SF6 circuit breaker. B. Minimum oil circuit breaker. C. Air brake circuit breaker. D. Air blast circuit breaker. The answer is A. SF6 circuit breaker. Isolators should be operated under no load condition. A. False. B. True. The answer is B. True. When power supply for a circuit containing capacitor is removed, capacitor discharges quickly. A. True. B. False. The answer is A. True. Power factor of an inductive circuit is usually improved by adding a capacitor to it in A. Series, B. Parallel, C. Either series or in parallel. The answer is B. Parallel. The electric field lines and equipotential lines are A. Parallel to each other, B. Cut at right angles, C. On the same plane, D. Can be inclined to each other at any angle. The answer is B. Cut at right angles. The power factor in a AC circuit lies between which of the following? A. 0 to 1, B. 1 to +1, C. 0 to -1. The answer is A. 0 to 1. SF6 circuit breaker will be compact compared to oil circuit breaker because A. Better arc quenching characteristics of SF6 gas, B. High dielectric strength of SF6 gas, C. Better cooling of SF6 gas, D. High thermal stability of SF6 gas. The answer is B. High dielectric strength of SF6 gas. Resonance circuits involves which of the elements? A. Inductor and capacitor, B. Capacitor and resistor, C. Resistor and inductor. The answer is A. Inductor and capacitor. Circuit breakers can able to dash during fault conditions. A. Make contacts, B. Break contacts, C. Both make and break contacts. The answer is C. Both make and break contacts. Harmonics in a circuit can be removed by employing A. Filters, B. Inverters, C. Rectifiers, D. Cycloconverters. The answer is A. Filters. Heat is generated in electrical circuit because of A. I2R loss only, B. I2X loss only, C. Both I2R and I2X loss. The answer is C. Both I2R and I2X loss. Generators employed in hydropower plants will have dash type of generators. A. Salient pole, B. Non-salient pole, C. Can be either salient pole or non-salient pole type. The answer is A. Salient pole. Which of the following is cheap protection device? A. Fuse, B. Circuit breaker, C. Isolator, D. Switch. The answer is A. Fuse. A wattmeter can be used to measure power in A. AC circuits only, B. DC circuits only, C. Both AC and DC circuits, D. None of the above circuits. The answer is C. Both AC and DC circuits. A resistance of 5 ohms is connected in series with a parallel of 4 resistances each of 1 ohm. What will be the equivalent resistance of the circuit? A. 5.25 ohms, B. 4.75 ohms. The answer is A. 5.25 ohms.